the most souls who come down here have a mission and a real deep purpose.
Yeah.
And it's about, what is this? I'm really good in seeing people and their soul frequency in the highest potential, and the soul frequency out and make it visible within this matrix here. In this very limiting society we grow up in, that does not support our individuality and uniqueness at all.
All right. Ianja Oehr, or should I call you the Soul CEO? Welcome to the Deeply Aligned podcast.
Thank you.
Just last week, we had some good conversations, you and me.
Yeah.
I already been super inspired by you, honestly. Been thinking a lot about what we talked about back then, so sure we're going to have another good conversation here, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be inspired by what we talk about today. So thank you so much for taking the time and being here. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
I wanted to start with your kind of new brand, the Soul CEO.
Yeah.
You talk about the importance of finding alignment and a good solid foundation. Could you talk to me a little bit more and expand on that, like what you mean, what it is about, and how you help people, basically?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's like really a natural evolution of that, what I did for years.
Yeah.
And it kind of came more and more to it. And the Soul CEO, I'm all about, soul alignment. Like we have a conditioned self. We have like our inner child, which like the pain, hurt, traumatic self. And then we have our true self, our authentic self, our higher self, however you want to call it. And this is the ultimate highest potential we can experience, right? When we step into this true self. So, and my job is like getting rid of all the fails, all the conditions, deconditioning, finding methods to, just like release, integrate all the traumatic body and or inner child, however you want to call it, and find this reconnection with our true self and therefore with our true purpose. And I think I really believe like the most, not everybody, but the most souls who come down here have a mission and a real deep purpose.
Yeah.
And it's about like, what is this? And it can be simple. It can be really simple. So and this is why I kind of created this brand, the Soul CEO, where I guide people. And I always say, like, I take I'm really good in seeing people and their soul frequency in the highest potential. And what I'm doing, I kind of take all the soul frequency out and make it visible within this matrix here. Yeah.
Really seeing truly who they are, like
Yes.
on the deeper level.
Exactly.
Yeah. You and me talked last week about, we had the word ownership. And you said it so well on how you were breaking down the word first. And then also like how you see ownership in general, like what it means to you and how potentially other people can view it differently or in a way that might be serving them. Could you expand on that, the word ownership?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think so. It's beautiful when we kind of break down words and we understand the real meaning behind it.
Yeah.
So ownership, like owning, like and understanding this is a ship. This is like the airplane we came with here on the planet, right?
Yeah.
And it's like taking complete ownership. This is such a powerful word when we really like understanding what is this meaning. And this is also the people who are coming to me, for example, they are ready to take ownership. They might don't know and they still want to kind of sneak away here or there, but at the end of the day, they are kind of started to have this commitment to themselves to take ownership of their emotional well-being, of their physical, of their existential, right? They recognize now, okay, I want to do more. I want to come out. And this is about, ownership. It's include everything, taking responsibility for every single thing within my life and owning my life as well. Like owning this physical existence, owning my soul existence, and owning life.
Yeah. Amazing. So many people talk about accountability, but still somewhat on a surface level with like take accountability to go to the gym or take accountability on what you're eating or
Exactly.
But when we talk about this, like ownership on take accountability and full ownership for all your desires, all your biggest dreams and aspirations, all your fears and doubts and insecurities and childhood traumas. When do you think was somewhat a pivotal moment for you when it came to ownership? Obviously, there's probably many stages throughout your life, and so has it been for me, but do you remember a specific moment where you go like, it clicked of like, yeah, I'm ready to take full ownership?
Well, that wasn't long ago. Like, and this was actually a real big topic for me because I do definitely have a kind of childlike, chaotic energy within myself. And I can see that, you know, systems like human design, they make me aware of those aspects. And through that, I'm better in navigating those. But yeah, there's like a very naive and childlike energy, which don't want to take any kind of responsibility and just kind of goes through life and creates chaos, or is even in a position, I've been in a position of being really like, almost like victim, right? Victim of my emotions, victim of my sensitivity, victim of, our environment or language, so many kind of victimhoods where I wasn't really taking responsibility at all and didn't want it to. So it definitely was a journey and it is a step-by-step journey. But I did had, and I think I told you from this when I had a psychedelic journey a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I remember, yeah.
So this was like the depths I experienced. And I told you, psychedelics have been a part of my journey for years, many, many years. Many psychedelic sessions through the shamanic teachings I've got, and this was such an important part of my journey to, be able to see my entire whole soul existence, but also to do this deconditioning process. But a few weeks ago, when I had this beautiful, very high potent mushroom powder, and I went into North Bali, into this beautiful wooden cottage, and I prepared everything so beautiful, so nicely, like energetically. I cleaned the space, I meditate before. I was so prepared to have this really deep, deep journey. I had this full, like this really open heart, and this journey has been so, so deep and profound on so many levels, but one really, really essential part of it was like seeing where I wasn't taking full ownership in my life, and I recognized where I really want to take full ownership, like really full, without any kind of denying anymore, but like full yes to life, to myself. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, we all have blind spots, right?
We do. Yes, exactly.
And someone who says like, I don't have any blind spot, like, come on.
Sure.
But what would you say, like, if you talk about psychedelics and uncovering blind spots of different kinds, would you recommend most people to try psychedelics? And you talked about like you had prepared, you had meditated and journaled, and you had been taking care of your well-being, right? So there's a relevance between like taking psychedelics and in the right setting and the right environment.
Absolutely.
But if one does that in the right environment, with the right setting, intentions, would you recommend for most people to try psychedelics?
Well, I'm really not a person for generalizations. I'm not. I think psychedelics are a really, really helpful tool, and I think everybody will know if it's on their path and journey, and it can be later on at some point. In general, what I'm saying, I think this is one of the most helpful tools we have to remember our wholeness, because you can read so many self-help books. You can read so much about awareness and consciousness and expanding your awareness and mindfulness, but having the experience itself, this is what truly gives us an orientation. So how I see it is like if you take psychedelics and you're having this experience of your wholeness and your vastness and your entire, and the depths of your soul existence being here in this beautiful human form, right? You have an orientation. So you come back out of this state of being completely open, and then you have an orientation of what is possible. And I actually had this once. So as I'm explaining it, many years ago, it was like over 6 years ago, I had very frequent psychedelic journeys by myself in the forest, but I did had shamanic guidance, like I had a shamanic teacher. So I don't recommend that, doing that for everybody, like just going irresponsible in forests and taking psychedelics. But for me, it has been a journey. However, then it was a very clear moment where it just was time to not take anything and really become super clear. Stop drinking alcohol, stop smoking weed or cigarettes, like all of those things I did, right?
Yeah.
So I left it all completely and I become very clean and clear. And then there has been a time, it was the second time that I went to Costa Rica. So Costa Rica has been for me always a place where I experienced deep inner healing. And there came a deep inner childhood trauma up my memory, and I went into the jungle and I spent 3 months completely myself, without a phone, without a laptop, without music or any kind of influence really, and everything. And I did fasting, I did nature walks every single day, and I just concentrated on my breath, and I literally woke up as I am in my entire being, as I would be on an LSD trip. Like I was so awake, I was so connected, I was so be a part of everything what was around me, just because I was so clean and pure and I had no influences, like for 3 months in a row. And I think this is beautiful, having those experiences. It's also possible without psychedelics.
Yeah.
If we really go into this clean, clear state and become present. At the end, it's just about being present. And this is how I see it, like apart from having the awareness within the experience about, for example, what is our conditioned self, where we have all the conditions from our environment or the culture mentality we grew up, and where do we have the traumatic self, the inner child.
Yeah.
And we see it clearly, and then we can also work on that more clearly.
Sometimes it's like you say, what I'm picking up from that is sometimes it's not about adding things, but it's about removing things. So you had a period there after a while that you started removing alcohol, removing weed, removing social media distractions or whatever. And I think you and me had a conversation also about, like, what is kind of the sort of a little bit of a purpose of our collective consciousness, like who am I, what can I become, kind of thing. But you were saying you are already it, you're already who you are, and it's more about unlayering. So once again, it's about removing things, right? Like unlayering certain traumas or certain pain to really get closer to who you truly are at the core. Would that be correct?
Yes, it's true. I actually was thinking about it afterwards. After we met, I was like, I thought about that conversation too, and I was like, I think this is such a huge destruction of the collective. I need to become better, I need to be that, there's this image I need to follow, I need to become this superhuman, right?
Yeah.
But we are already superhumans.
Yeah.
And this is just like another distraction. And eventually based, like our subconscious mind creates the strategies, right?
Yeah.
There's so many strategies our subconscious mind creates to run away from accepting who we already are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's tricky.
I heard you say there's literally nothing more powerful than knowing yourself. Can you describe what you mean by that?
Absolutely. Yes, this is it. When you are letting go so many layers of pain, of the trauma, because we all have it. Like we grew up, and like the awareness in the very most people on this planet grow up. The environment, the parents are just like not in that awareness to give us enough love or attention or whatever we need. So we have all this experience that creates a lot of pain and trauma. And then the conditions in this very limiting society we grow up with that does not support our individuality and uniqueness at all. Like we grow up and we get stuck in a school and we are just like treated all the same. And we are losing our individual unique spark. And everybody know, as a child, we all felt so special, right? We knew we are so special. And then we get older and older and older, and we start to compare ourselves. And we are like, lose the spark of individuality and uniqueness. But it's actually still there. And that's, again, the same. If we kind of remembering, this is why I love using human design, because this is such a, it's like, I call it remembrance activations, right? Because you see who you truly are, and then you're becoming aware about who you aren't, and you have such a clear orientation about, oh, this is what I can let go or integrate. There are different aspects to work with. It's not just like letting go everything. No, there are also parts where we live out the lower frequency, and the gift is actually sitting within that higher frequency. And I gave the example of judgment, for example.
Right.
We have a really negative meaning about judgment, especially in the spiritual realm. But if we are, if we understand it's actually a gift to be able to judge, this is so beautiful, because we won't evolve and we won't be able to improve certain systems or relationship or whatever if we are not able to judge. So if we are using the higher frequency of judging, this is such a beautiful quality of improving and evolving and being innovative. And this is like where I feel like this is so important that we start to really opening and widening our mind and understand that who we are, like so many parts of it, which we suppress, crazy, we call, or think we need to get rid of it, or judging, there is actually gifts within hidden. So, and this is the power when we really know ourselves. Like, I know this is my strength. This is not my weakness. Exactly. And this is a part of me, and then I own it, and then I can embrace it. And this is so, so powerful. It's the most powerful thing, yes.
So powerful and freeing, basically.
It is.
It's like you say, we all came with an instruction called human design. Like, for anyone who is quite new to this definition and term and concept, like what is human design?
I call it, it's the highest resolution system to understand our soul existence in human form. So there's no higher resolution system to really understand the complexity and depth of our soul being and soul frequency. So what was the question? What is it?
Yeah, what is human design? Or that we all come with, I guess, a human... an instruction called human design. I like that. Like, we all come with an instruction called human design. And I mean, I've seen you do this with me, and just by sitting with Anja for like 1 hour, and you know, that's not really what we're focusing on, but I get to learn so much about myself because you're describing my human design and the certain parts and intricacies of it.
Exactly. I mean, it does comes again a little bit back to we lose our individuality and we are stuck in these generalizations, and we are just like, don't work all the time, not even at close to. We all have an inner different decision-making process and different mechanics and energetics. And this is what is so painful in this way, how our world functions, because of the generalization doesn't let us recognize this, how do I actually work. However, so human design, yes, it is calculated in the way at the time of birth. And there's also another aspect that's called the unconscious part, which is calculated 88 days before you were born. And it is about there are 4 different ancient wisdom included, but it is a new system. It's important to understand. And it gives us the orientation about the soul frequency we came with. Like the talents, the gifts, how our mechanics and energetics work. And this is what I say. What is my strategy? What is my inner authority? What is my decision-making process? Where is my gift? Like, which kind of qualities I came with? What is the shadow aspect of that? Because often, of course, we also live out the lower frequency. And we also can see without the human design body graph, that's how you call it, body graph, where you have, for example, more condition potential. because you might have a hanging gate, that's how it's called, and it looks to another frequency, but it's actually not you, but you're looking to that frequency, and this is often why we feel like, oh, maybe something is missing with ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We are searching instead of recognize, but if we have the knowledge about, this is just because I have a hanging gate, it just the searching just dissolves. So understanding your instruction gives you so much clarity and orientation, and through that again you can own yourself and reconnect to yourself and come into soul alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Everyone wants to have a beautiful life. What would you say are some of the ways people can get there? Like, what do they need to do in order to have a beautiful life?
Again,
what would people need to do in order to have a beautiful life? And how, obviously this is a very complex question.
Okay.
But yeah, in your opinion, breaking that down a little bit, how can people start create a more beautiful life for themselves? Like, where would you start if you would have to start over for yourself?
Like honesty comes very at first.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned it actually yesterday in my stories, because self-reflection, acknowledgement, honesty, like, I don't know in which order it is. It's like self-reflection, honesty, recognition, acceptance. So that are like the key words to be even able to recognize when do I live a fake personality, like
having a mask.
Yes, exactly, having a mask
in some kind of way.
Like, so often, we have those ideas of this is what I should do. So what is this idea based on?
Yeah.
To prove to your parents you are a good girl or a good boy, and you do exactly the perfect thing you need to do to get the attention you were looking for your entire life.
Yeah.
So those patterns we can run for a very, very long time until we reflect on our behavior, we are honest to ourselves, and see, okay, what is the intention, what is the thrive behind my behavior? And then I can recognize, okay, this is my false self.
Yeah.
In human design, we talk about not self and true self. It's quite easy. I like it. It simplifies it a little bit. Okay, it's my not self. And if I start to unravel that, I will automatically reconnect to my true self and start to feel what is my true desire. What I really would like to experience in this lifetime here.
Yeah.
What are my dreams?
Yeah.
Because so often the dreams are blended from all that ideas. Also, doesn't matter.
It's even hard to know, like,
and especially also with social media, right? There's so many. I'm like, oh, this is what I should do, or this or that. And then if you go back to human design, if you have an open head and Ashna, it can be that you're very easy influenced, and you think it's you, but it's actually not you.
Yeah.
So if I understand all of that, understand how I can be influenced, or how I am influenced, or which kind of conditions I create, I can recognize what I actually would like to create. And this is where I say, for you, it looks a happy life completely different than a happy life looks for me. Like, we have all an individual path.
Different symphonies of success. I like it. Different symphonies of success.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And this is just about it. Reconnect with the heart desires. I call them heart desires. Like this inner urge of wanting to have a certain experience.
Yeah.
And we all have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it really circles back to the thing you said, right? Where like it's super powerful and freeing to know yourself first. Have self-awareness, be honest with yourself, live an authentic life. And you can only figure that out as, like you did, for example. It doesn't have to be psychedelics, but you spend some time with yourself without a lot of other distractions for a couple months. And then you get closer to, like, I mean, who am I really? And what are my desires? And what are my values? And what kind of life and what do I want to do on this earth, in this life, on this planet? Like, you get closer to those answers, right? And get more clear about that.
Yeah.
And then you can feel a more genuine drive that I'm really passionate about this. These are my interests that I want to pursue because I love it and I have fun doing it. Not what my parents or anyone else was saying, the kind of path I was going to take, right?
Exactly. What I always like to say is like, it's about being smart playing the game. It's like at the end, we are still in the game.
Yeah.
Like, we're playing a game here. And if I'm smart playing the game, example, being honest to myself, or knowing even our emotions that are so big messenger that want to make us aware about something that is maybe not in alignment, right? But we somehow suppress them too.
Yeah.
But learning to listen to emotions makes us aware about it. Yeah, if I live a false self or not, or something else I need to be integrate or resolve or actually embrace because I actually suppress it. Yeah.
I love always to think about how one can reverse engineer. And if we talk about, I guess, life as a game, and we try to reverse engineer that game to think about what is the end of the game, or what could it potentially look like. The kind of deathbed exercise kind of thing. I think we talked about it, where one of the biggest regrets would be at the end of the game, you realize, holy shit, like, I've been living my life not the way I actually wanted to live it. I was living a life based on what someone else was telling me to do. That would be the biggest regret.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes back to, how should I now act today? Well, I should be honest with myself and trying to have self-awareness of what do I actually want. Like, so yeah, a great answer to how people can get a beautiful life. Complicated question. Let's continue on that path though. What do you think is required in order for us to change and sort of transform our life, to truly create a life that is in alignment and authenticity? So maybe let me break it down like this. Like, let's say I've now found the self-awareness that, oh, I'm interested in this, and maybe I even know my human design, so I know a bit about myself now. Now I know what I want to change and how I want to transform into. What's the next step?
We do have all the same amount of awareness. We do. Putting ourselves in playing a personality that means, oh, I don't know. I'm helpless. I don't have the awareness. It's just another strategy created maybe based on fear. Not having the courage of actually stepping up. Because it can be scary. It is scary. It's bold, like being courageous, going after our dreams, being bold, going after our dreams. You need courage and you need to step out of your comfort zone, and it's not an easy way at all. So there's so many, our psyche is so smart. There's so many strategies our mind creates to prevent stepping out of our comfort zone. And and this is pretty much where I think we come back to honesty. We do, because this is also, there's no one who doesn't have self-awareness to be honest enough to themselves, understanding that they're lying on themselves.
Like you said there, back to ownership also again, of like ownership in the way that I know I want to transform or want to change this or that, but I'm scared. But with ownership, I can still think, I need to take the ownership to get the courage to face my doubts and fears. Because once again, if I think about the end of the game, do I really want to end my life feeling that, you know what, I didn't have the courage to go after that dream, that relationship, that love of my life, that whatever it is? That would suck, in my opinion. Like, so you gotta like, what's the opportunity cost here? Well, do I potentially want to feel that way later on, or do I want to now try to step by step, little by little, at least breed some courage and go after it?
Yeah, I think it's a scarce here. It's this idea of at the end of your life, you look back and you're like, shit, I did not live my life.
Yeah.
And I think we do have different motivations. Like everybody has different kind of scarcity trigger.
Yeah.
It's literally a scarcity trigger, yes.
Yeah.
What is our motivation, and what is really that what brings the spark back and the passion, right?
I think like we both know how much sort of like the internal game plays a role in, I guess, like finding success in life or in business. And success is still this, like everyone has their different definition of success. But the internal game, how much it matters. You mentioned create a mindset that supports you. If we can talk a little bit about this, like a mindset that supports you, what comes up for you there?
Yes, sure. I mean, again, we come back to the very conditioned self, like the way we are thinking.
Yeah.
This is programmed in the way wherever and what kind of environment we grew up. Whatever culture, like my German culture has different wires than yours, and or someone who comes from Latin America. So we are all wired in a certain way, and it's like rewiring our brain so it supports our greater vision. And this comes also back to self-reflection. And I have one example I love. Like, it's about perspective. And if we really get it, this is huge. Like this, it changed literally our entire life, and it's so simple. So if we have a phone and we want to take a picture of something, right? So there's an object. And what we are doing is we are trying different angles and different light to find the perfect angle so the object looks the best possible and shines in its brightest light. Yeah. And we are like, okay, cool, this is the right position. From here I want to make this image, right? And we see the object is just like, it looks amazing, but if I'm looking from here, it actually doesn't look good at all. And this is the same if I'm having a certain situation, for example, in my life, or my mindset, like where's the right aligned perspective that whatever I meet in life, a situation within a relationship or also a hardship or challenge, where's the right aligned perspective where I see the gift in this, where I see the greater, bigger picture. Yeah. If my perspective does not feel good, it's because it's not true. It's not the right perspective. And this is already the answer. It's already the indicator. It's like, oh, he left me. Like, you know, if you're in a relationship and someone breaks your heart and you're like just like in just deep pain and having all this kind of maybe judgment or whatever, this kind of victimhood where you're saying like, and I'm always like, but this perspective you're having on the situation, it doesn't feel good. It's painful. It hurts, right? Yeah. So maybe it's not the right aligned perspective. And this is the same with our thought pattern. So if I'm recognizing a certain thought pattern that doesn't support me, I try to find a different perspective on it to rewire this thought pattern.
Such a great analogy, really. Like zoom in, zoom out, change angle. Yeah.
If we would do that, like there's a challenge. And so often we just got stuck right in our head. We are like just having this one repeating thought about why it's happened or kind of this judgment or opinion about it instead of being just a little bit flexible.
Totally. Yeah. Well, that's something I feel like I've learned along the years. I think a couple of years ago it started, me and my friend had a concept this is good because. So every time something negative happened, you came up with 3 reasons why this is good.
Okay,
Like
good.
missing your flight. This is good because now I have time to see the city. Now I have time to try that restaurant. Now I have time to see that friend.
It's the same.
Yeah.
This is what you did. Exactly. You find a better aligned perspective, a more positive
Like really
perspective
zooming
on it.
out and like maybe I shouldn't be in this city at this time. Maybe I should have been at
Exactly.
like, and now I'm meeting that person who could be a partner or whatever. Like you never know.
No.
But if you change the angle and perspective, you can always find.
And you can kind of flow with the universal guidance, right?
Yeah.
Instead of being stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. If someone came and asked you, because we're both in the online business space in a certain degree. If someone came and asked you, like, what's the secret to finding success with an online business? How would you break that down for them? Maybe you can tell us your journey.
Yeah, it's an interesting journey. Like the journey within my online business is not as old as long I build online businesses with others. So I started establishing the business when I lived in Australia. And it just came through one thing after the next that I started working with entrepreneurs and started developing website and then online courses and launch strategy and everything built up on one another. But it was actually in person while I lived on the Sunshine Coast. So, but there were like so many entrepreneurs who started to know me, and I got a very easy success. Like this was just like a fire started burning through recommendation from other people. Like people start talking about me, and I just got one really beautiful job of next. And after that, I was really naive. I was like, okay, cool. There's money. I know what I'm doing. I'm going back to Costa Rica and take this entire thing online. This was so naive. Like I fully underestimate how much it takes to take a business online. And I needed to learn a lot, and it took time. So it did took time. It requires strategy and competence.
Yeah.
Like, because it's the end of the day, and it's about showing up. And showing up a certain strategy, but competence is in my case very often still the key to get other clients, because they're to talk about me. And like, oh, this person, she's amazing, you need her. And then I get the next client, and it's like a little bit of ripple effect of that. Yeah. But we can't, I think many people, and included me, think, oh, this is just so easy. I just start working online. But it's a lot of work to find your own way and create a solid foundation, a solid branding, where you can start to grow on. If you don't have a solid foundation, you're going to collapse at some point.
Yeah. Let's see if you agree on this, because my personal experience was like whatever skills we were acquiring, whether it was marketing or ads or anything else, building website, whatever skill you have. Taking that online is like not only about the skills and then the strategies, but also like, at least it was in my experience of like, it was so important to be aligned with what I was doing.
Yeah.
And when I say that, like not that I was out of complete alignment, but there's a difference between being quite aligned and like really aligned.
Yeah.
And for me, like the missing pieces of like being really aligned was like that sometimes maybe I wasn't coming across exactly on the internet as I would come across like this in person. Because you think that I should talk about this thing that I'm selling or this problem that I'm solving, and come across as with authority that I know what I'm doing and that I'm an expert and like. Have you had any experience for yourself in that regards where you did well, but once you got more in alignment, you did a lot better?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This happened with the human design, for example. This was a beautiful example. And I'm a person, I'm like in a constant evolvement.
Mm.
I've never did something for very long, and this is my nature.
Yeah.
Like I do something, I establish it, I drive it, and I move on to something else because I just needed to do that until this point, and then I'm evolving again. And this comes always into even more alignment and more alignment. So definitely, and this has been for me personally always so important to do something that feels truly genuine. And I know I'm coming from my heart space, and I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's so important.
I think so many people I'm talking to, like the multi-passionates and the people who has a lot of interest and could be resonating with you and being quite similar. Like you want to jump into new things because that is exciting and challenging and you're growing and it's fun, right? So talking to those people, like once again, knowing yourself, whatever your human design is, and as long as you're in alignment, that is fine. Like you don't have to follow this business advice. You have to focus on one thing, and you need to do it for at least a year. You can't jump from one business idea to another, and but it's not true. It's all about just being in alignment.
Yes, absolutely. And we come also back to this knowing yourself. Because if we are knowing ourselves, we understand our own rhythm, our own movement, our own why.
Yeah.
Like I know why. I don't care how it looks for others outside. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you know it's time, then go for it and understand. Trust yourself. Trusting ourselves.
Yeah.
I think this is a really important too. Like really trusting our abilities and our own feelings, our own intuition, our own insights to create a life that is in alignment. And sometimes it seems so, extraordinary. It looks so unusual. And this is also, I think, a tricky part. Like being in alignment can look actually really
that's a courage in
unusual
itself, right?
for the common picture of how something should be, how we should look like. Like doesn't matter what it is, it can look very unusual from the outside.
Yeah.
When we actually tap into alignment, and this is a beautiful thing because I think this is also important to create certain systems within our society that are more in alignment in general to understand, okay, we do need a more sustainable and holistic perspective on the way we do business, the way we live life, the way we treat nature, the way we treat one another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And recognize that we are actually all truly unique. We have uniqueness and beauty within us, and it takes a lot of courage in itself of like being different. But you gotta remember that being different is good. And
yes.
especially if we talk about online business and marketing and stuff like that, it's like I learned this recently where a lot of people are focusing on being better, but rather than focusing on being better, just focusing on being different and being you. Unapologetically you.
Yes. This has been something I struggled with huge time. Where I'm like, there always is many ideas of how you should make marketing. Like, oh, you need a clear messaging, you need this, you need that. And just over the last few weeks even, I was like, I need to break out of this because I feel I really limit myself and my liberated self-expression in the way I actually would like to share certain information because I think I need to stuck myself in this niche.
Yeah.
And I only can talk about whatever, what's this niche included.
Yeah.
And this makes us unhappy. Like this makes me frustrating and also unmotivated because there's so much more. And I think this is beautiful that we also come more and more into that awareness of no branding, online business, niche. We are so beautiful, vast, unique creatures.
Yeah.
We can't stack ourselves and limitate ourselves as much. It's just like not possible.
It's not about the niche anymore of like spirituality, human design. Eventually it's more like it's the niche of the soul CEO.
Yeah.
Ianja, of like all the things she values and the kind of lifestyle she wants and why she's building a business in the first place to have a better life in this and this and this way. people are going to resonate with that, right? And you can attract the same people that you are yourself, as long as you are having the courage to like show like, hey, this is me, all of me. Yeah, you know what you get, and you can trust that you're getting what you're seeing here. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about passion and finding purpose. Do you think there's any kind of formula for that? You know, as you're trying to get to know yourself and your interests, and everything starts with interest, right, and hobbies, and then as you do that enough, eventually it seems like it's turning into passion, and you continue on your passion, and then you at some point might even go like, I don't know, maybe this is my purpose, like this is what I'm here to do, like, and but what's the formula of trying to discover these things?
I'm not sure if we talked about it, but it's like, I don't think our purpose like this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
The way what is my purpose can express itself in very many different variations. And this is a beautiful thing. We are on a playground here.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. My purpose, I'm really good in my voice and communication. Like when I do, for example, guided visualization, I literally heal DNA. I heal their energetic field and aura through different lifetimes, past life regression, whatever it is. Like, it is my voice that influences really certain structure, transforms, mutates, heals. But this could be, for example, someone who's very talented in singing,
Right.
who maybe does this through singing, while I do guided visualizations. And then someone else maybe does it through comedy.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different ways how we can use, when we have this talent of an impactful voice, how we can use that tool to express our purpose.
Yeah.
So there are so many different ways. And systems, of course, systems like gene keys, human design, they kind of make us more aware again about it, like about this purpose, like what is my main kind of quality? And the question is like, how do I want to express it? We all have things like, they come even naturally to us. And maybe this is the key, right? It's much more simple than we might think.
Right.
Because maybe we think we need to be extraordinary and unique and beautiful, but the uniqueness and beauty and is actually already in that. So there is a part of being humble too. And I think this is always like, it's always on a very fine line.
Yeah.
We cannot just have these generalizations. They are so unhealthy. So, and it can be that the purpose is big and bold and someone needs to be on a stage and do that and influence thousands of people and create big change in societies. But maybe the purpose also, something more quiet and humble. And
we tend to think that purpose is like these great achievements and stuff, but maybe it's more about being. Like the purpose of, let me explore, let me bring out the best of people, let me express my own voice. Express.
Yes.
That could be a purpose also. Yeah. And like you say, we just tend to overcomplicate things of like it's these achievements that we need to do and produce certain things, but
also again, a distraction can be an alignment. But this is something we know and it feels authentic, right? And if it feels edgy or it does actually exhaust us or we actually end up in a frustration, that are like all the first indicator for maybe running on a subconscious mind belief.
Do you believe in life after death? And that many of us has been living previous lives before this.
Yes. Yes, different life past, different lifetime memories has been a very pivotal aspect of my life. And I do differentiate between past lives in different lifetime memories, because there is not such a thing as past. So this is already, it's still happening.
Yeah.
It's just in a different dimension. We can tap into the memory of this dimension because it's all happening here right now. So this is not easy to grasp for our mind, and this is definitely also something we would need to experience to really understand it, what I'm talking about. But in past life regression, people, it's easier to understand. Okay, that was somewhere middle age or on a different galaxy happening. However, since I was a child, I remembered different lifetimes.
Yeah.
Like it was so clearly for me. I was 4 years, 5 years old, and there were several memories of me being in the middle age. There were mostly of them were around middle age. I was like an author, I was a prostitute, and I was a queen.
Nice mix there.
So it's weird, and one thing is, for example, I'm really good in writing, like very philosophical texts. I just came with that. I never had to learn this. Like, and these are those things, right? If we are coming with something, this is already so embedded with us. There are people that just know how to sing. I don't know how to sing, but people that just have this so deeply embedded. Because there's a very high potential that already really established the skill within a different lifetime. So yeah, this has been a huge topic for me, and it has been throughout my entire life and my own personal transformational journey and finding my more authentic self, my more understanding the vastness of our existence here has been a huge topic for me. And things, let's say my soul chose definitely a life with quite a few extreme challenges where we can go into the childhood, we can talk about sexual abuse, and I'm fine, like there's no emotional connection anymore with those, but there were extreme challenges along my way. So when I started to dive into astrology, I recognized that indicators of having this experience in my childhood of being sexual abused, I could see them in my natal chart, where this natal chart exists already at the time of birth, where the event happened 7 years later. So then this was like this, wait a moment. So I already had something, like a certain baggage on my soul level I incarnate with, and the childhood experience was a reflection on what I already had. So with this aha moment, I was also in Costa Rica the third time to that moment, where, for example, those memories came true. And I did hypnotherapy, where we did past life regressions.
Right.
And also me just being in nature and spending a lot of time. I got a lot of downloads, a lot of memories came in where I remembered lifetimes in completely different galaxies. Have nothing to do really with the system we have here on planet Earth or our beautiful human physical body. Like, it's completely, our existence can look so different, the way we live life. But the main concepts are often very similar of what we are experiencing here on planet Earth. So yeah, I recognize the trauma I experienced in my childhood was just a reflection of what I experienced prior in a different lifetime. So now I'm saying, people always saying, planet Earth, like, what they're saying, like the learning planning planet or something like this. And I'm saying planet Earth, like Mother Earth, it's a very giving energy, right? She's very nurturing. She provides us, like Mother Earth is like this incredible nurturing planet and a planet of reflection. So we are having 70 to 80% water on the planet. If I look into water, I see myself. It's a mirror. I look into the water, it's a mirror, I see myself. And the same is with you and me, because we are 70 to 80% of water. and I see myself in you, and I see myself in every single thing that I experience in every single moment in my life. Yeah. This is all just a reflection of what is inside of us. Now we're coming back to being smart, playing the game. Right. If I have that awareness, I can understand to play the game in a way that I can use whatever I experience and really truly heal on a soul level. So planet Earth provides this beautiful playground and space for us to heal on a soul level, wherever in other galaxies or systems we don't have the reflection. On the sun, there's just light. There's just love and light and happiness. There's no shadow because there's just light. So we can have millions of years incarnating on the sun and we never will face the shadow we actually have or the trauma we somehow have on a soul level.
Yeah.
And
when it comes to like past life regression and understanding what kind of traumas you're bringing from there and connecting this with, I guess, lives in general and healing, and if like planet Earth is a playground for exploring and learning, is it also supposed to be integration here on planet Earth in our lives? Is this also time to integrate from life to life, or how do you see that?
Can you be a bit more clear, like what integrating?
So in your case, you're saying a past life was about sexual abuse and stuff like that, and that reflecting into this life when you were however old, 7, or integration in a way of like you take that learning and you almost kind of make sure to stop that trauma. I see there's a good meme of glasses. There's like 4 glasses in a row, and the first one has muddy water, and then you pour that into the next glass.
Yes, I've seen something similar here.
And you pour that into the next glass, and then the last glass, being you, has clear water in it. And then as you pour over there, it's not as muddy anymore, and then it keeps on pouring, this clean water until the muddy water becomes clean. So it's just an analogy and meme of like how there's past trauma from your grandparents and your parents, and you're making sure that you don't take your trauma to your child, basically. You're the one stopping the generational trauma, in a way.
Yes. We come back to ownership, because it might be generational trauma, but it's still something in my soul essence that I chose being incarnating in that family, so this family can reflect what I have. So this is also something really beautiful in human design. There were things I would blame my parents for, and I'm like, oh, no, this is me. Like, I can't blame them. I recognize this is a shadow aspect I come with, but I chose to incarnate into a family which would use has a huge drug addiction and alcohol addiction, so I could repeat this pattern and become self-aware about taking ownership and heal and transform, for sure. So I do believe we chose the environment to become aware about what we are carrying. So this is generational trauma, yes, but I chose to repeat that trauma because I have it. Like other people incarnate in other families and they have trauma pattern I don't have because I haven't had them in the first place.
Right. It almost becomes like a gift in a way, right? Like you come with your soul's trauma, and you're getting incarnated into a new life, that similar situation. But here again, they're asking you, like, are you gonna take ownership this time to heal it, basically, right? Because now you're being put in a similar situation again, and
Yes, yes. So we are healing, and we are kind of. It's true. I mean, in our modern spirituality, it comes more and more. I'm cutting the cords. I'm the one who is like stepping out of this lineage of traumas, of course. But I do really feel, and this is the only way to really heal and transform is taking ownership. Because as long I think the past generations are the cause of me having this trauma, I won't be able to really heal it. It's simply not possible because I just can heal for something I take complete ownership. And I say, this is me, this is mine, this is sitting in my genes, it's sitting in my DNA. And then I can heal. So, yeah, I think what I like to readjust, like soul trauma. I do say, like, yes, exactly, because my experience was, oh, wow, I already incarnated with trauma, and then my childhood reflected this trauma. But I'm not fully would subscribe to we have soul trauma, because our soul is very pure and enlightened in a way. It's more like, if we can envision it, we have this beautiful divine soul, which is pure awareness, enlightenment, and this soul had experiences in different lifetimes, and true, they are maybe fractal, like they're like things within the field and soul field. So this is somehow different, because I don't know if we can really say a soul has trauma, because the soul is pure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to the word you used before with shadow aspect, and I know another word you're using, you say hidden frequencies. If we talk about that for a bit, with like, what is vibrational frequencies? How do you see that? What is the shadow aspect? And what is hidden frequencies? And what's good to be aware of that?
I love that topic. Like, I think this is...
We need another hour.
This is one of the main things, how we are not able to step into our full potential, because we do have the limited awareness about taking all the frequencies we come with. So, and one of the for example, is desire is a very clear one. Or like anger. Did we talk about anger and passion?
Maybe.
I'm not sure. So, however, so there is, for example, I'm feeling the emotion of anger. It's an energy, frequency. And this is usually something we don't want to feel, and we try to get rid of it, right? We have all these ideas of anger release and those kind of things, so we can balance our anger. But what is when we accept anger? So if I feel angry, and instead of trying to get rid of it, which doesn't really fully work, I accept. When I accept the feeling of anger, it kind of dissolves into passion. So passion is a higher frequency of anger. Lower frequency is anger. So every energy has a lower frequency and the higher frequency.
Yeah.
So if I try to get rid of anger, I suppress my passion. I watering my passion. I cannot step into my passion and activate, embrace my passion when I suppress the lower frequency of it. And we have this example, judgment. If I suppress and I have a meaning and opinion about being judgmental, I can't realign the energy of having that quality of discernment, understanding what is right, what is wrong. If I wouldn't have that, we wouldn't have any evolution in our society if we would not distinguish between this is good, this is bad, this is so beautiful. And also, and then we come back to those kind of false ideas, there is no good and bad. No, there isn't. But we do need something to improve.
It's almost like accepting and maybe even loving all parts of ourselves. Because if we don't accept our anger, it's almost like we're having resentment against our own, which is part of ourselves to a degree. Like we all have different emotions, whether it's anger or anything else, right?
And we get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had this convo the last week. I asked you, like, what do you think about love and passion is not the highest frequency. Maybe the highest frequency is authenticity,
Yes.
which is also like just acceptance of whether it's anger or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And you accept that that is authentically a part of you. And it's not good and bad. It's just who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think also like desire is a very beautiful one too. Because the highest definition of desire is lightness. But also desire in my chart is something that drives me. Like I desire to have new experiences. I love to indulge into new experiences. Of course, they need to be still soul aligned, right?
Yeah.
In the lower frequency, that is a frequency which asks for, like drugs, for example, right? If we live the lower frequency of desire, but if I live the higher frequency of desire and I really align this feeling and urge with my soul, I want to have new experiences. I desire to have certain feelings, that I want to feel love, that I want to embrace it all, that like the capacity I have to wanting to feel can be so beautiful and lush.
Yeah.
Wherever if we come back to this spiritual understanding, it's like, oh, desire is so bad, right? You should not desire.
Yeah.
We need to be egoless.
Amazing, Ianja. We're coming to an end here, unfortunately. we need another hour for
Yes, probably.
But yeah, it's been such a great and fun conversation.
Yeah.
Inspiring for me and inspiring for probably many of the listeners.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
If people want to know more about you, where could they find you?
They can find me on Instagram under Ianja Oehr, Soulsea, or I think Instagram is the easiest way to connect with me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.